Hey Taurus, I just pulled cards for you, and honestly, what came through is really interesting. So I sat down with my deck today thinking about this reading for you, and the energy that showed up is quite specific. Let me share what I found because there are some genuine insights here that I think you will find helpful. The first card I pulled is King of Pentacles, and this card has such grounded, stable energy. When I see this card, it tells me something about the real identity and character of someone in your life, or someone coming into your life. This king sits on his throne, surrounded by abundance, and he has this calm, assured presence. He is not flashy or dramatic. He is the person who builds things that last. He creates security not through quick schemes, but through steady, consistent effort and wisdom. What strikes me about this card in your reading is the theme of substance over surface. This king represents someone whose true nature is reliable and mature. They have probably worked hard to get where they are, and they understand the value of patience and persistence. When we talk about true identity, this card suggests someone who is exactly what they appear to be. No hidden agendas, no masks. What you see is what you get, and that is actually refreshing in a world where so many people present false versions of themselves. This person or this energy has a very earthy, practical quality. They are not someone who makes big promises they cannot keep. Instead, they show their character through actions. They might not be the most romantic in a traditional sweep-you-off-your-feet way, but they demonstrate care through providing stability and being present. They understand that real love is built on trust and consistency, not just passion and excitement. I am also getting that this king energy relates to someone who has their life together in material ways. Not necessarily wealthy, but someone who manages their resources well. They think long-term. They plan ahead. They create foundations that others can rely on. If this is about a romantic interest, their identity is tied to being a provider and protector. They take relationships seriously, and they do not enter into them lightly. The interesting thing about discovering someone's true identity through this card is that it might take time to really see all these qualities. This king does not reveal everything at once. They are somewhat private and reserved. But as you get to know them, you discover depth and reliability that is rare. They prove themselves through time and through their steady presence in your life. Now, the second card that came up is Five of Swords, and this shifts the energy quite a bit. This card often appears when there has been conflict, or when someone has won a battle, but at what cost? I see a figure holding swords while others walk away defeated. The energy here is about conflict, manipulation, and sometimes about someone not playing fair. When we are talking about discovering someone's true identity, this card suggests there might be more beneath the surface than initially appears. The Five of Swords can indicate someone who is willing to win at any cost, even if it means hurting others or using questionable tactics. This is not about physical confrontation, but about mental games, power struggles, and emotional manipulation. I am getting a sense that there could be a discovery of behavior that is less than honorable. Maybe someone has been presenting themselves one way, but their actions tell a different story. This card warns about people who might be using others for their own gain, or who create unnecessary drama and conflict. They might argue just to argue, or they might enjoy having the upper hand in situations. The challenging aspect of this card is recognizing when someone is not being genuine in their intentions. Are they stirring up trouble? Are they talking behind people's backs? Are they creating divisions between people who care about each other? The Five of Swords often shows up when someone is playing games with the truth, or when they are more interested in being right than in being kind. But here is where it gets deeper. Sometimes this card is also about recognizing these tendencies in ourselves. Are we fighting battles that do not need to be fought? Are we so focused on protecting ourselves that we are pushing others away? Are we being defensive when we could be open? The true identity revealed here might be about seeing our own patterns of conflict and protection. What I find fascinating is how this card can also represent someone who has been through a lot of battles and has developed a tough exterior as protection. Their true identity might be someone who has been hurt and now guards themselves carefully. They might push people away before they can be pushed away themselves. Understanding this helps us see past the defensive behavior to the wounded person underneath. The third card is Nine of Swords, and this one carries heavy energy around anxiety, worry, and mental torment. When I pulled this card, I immediately felt the weight of overthinking and fear. This is the card of lying awake at 3 in the morning, replaying conversations and imagining worst-case scenarios. It is about the stories we tell ourselves when we are in darkness. In the context of discovering someone's true identity, this card suggests that anxiety and fear might be clouding your perception. When we are anxious, we often project our fears onto situations and people. We imagine betrayals that have not happened. We see threats where there might only be misunderstandings. The Nine of Swords asks us to consider whether what we think we know about someone's identity is actually true or whether it is colored by our own fears and past experiences. This card can also reveal that someone's true identity includes a lot of internal struggle. They might present a confident face to the world, but inside they are battling demons. They might be someone who worries constantly about being good enough, or being loved, or being abandoned. Their anxiety might drive behaviors that seem confusing or hurtful, but really come from a place of fear rather than malice. I am getting that there might be a revelation that someone you know carries more pain than they show. Their true identity includes struggles with mental health or past traumas that shape how they show up in relationships. This does not excuse poor behavior, but it provides context. When we understand that someone is operating from a place of fear rather than intentional cruelty, it changes how we relate to them. The Nine of Swords also warns about the danger of rumination and obsessive thinking. If you are trying to figure out someone's true nature, you might be overthinking every interaction and reading meaning into everything. Sometimes we torture ourselves trying to decode people when the truth is simpler than we imagine. Sometimes people are just doing their best with the tools they have, and we are creating elaborate narratives in our minds. What strikes me about this card is the reminder that what keeps us up at night is often worse than reality. The fears and worries are amplified in the darkness of our minds. The true identity of the person in question might be far less threatening or problematic than your anxious mind is suggesting. Or conversely, your intuition might be picking up on red flags that your conscious mind is trying to rationalize away. The fourth card I pulled is the Sun, and what a contrast this is to the previous card. The Sun is pure, radiant, positive energy. It is about truth being illuminated, clarity, joy, and authenticity. When this card appears in a reading about discovering true identity, it is such a positive sign because it literally means that the truth will come to light, and when it does, it will be good. The Sun does not hide anything. Everything is visible in broad daylight. There are no shadows, no secrets, no hidden agendas. What this card tells me is that the true identity of the person in question, or the true nature of the situation, will be revealed clearly, and what is revealed will be positive. This is someone whose authentic self is warm, genuine, and life-giving. I am getting such hopeful energy from this card. The Sun represents someone who brings light and joy into the lives of others. Their true identity is someone who is optimistic, confident, and honest. They do not play games. They do not manipulate. They are straightforward, and their presence makes others feel good. When you are around this person, you feel energized and uplifted. This card can also indicate a childlike innocence and authenticity. Not naive, but genuinely good-hearted. The true identity here is someone who has not been corrupted by cynicism or bitterness. They still believe in the good in people. They still approach life with enthusiasm and hope. They are not performing or pretending. They are genuinely the warm, caring person they appear to be. What I find beautiful about the Sun in this position is that it suggests the discovery of someone's true nature will be a relief and a joy. Whatever worries or concerns existed will be cleared up when the full truth emerges. You will see that this person is exactly who you hoped they were, or even better. Their true character is solid, positive, and trustworthy. The Sun also speaks to success and achievement. The true identity might include someone who is accomplished and confident in their abilities. They have worked to become who they are, and they shine because of their genuine talents and efforts. They do not need to inflate themselves or tear others down. Their light is real and earned. The fifth card that showed up is Four of Cups, and this brings in a different energy about contemplation, withdrawal, and possibly missed opportunities. I see a figure sitting under a tree with 3 cups in front of them, and another cup being offered by a hand from a cloud, but they are not even looking at it. They seem lost in thought or perhaps discontent. In terms of discovering someone's true identity, the Four of Cups suggests that the person might be emotionally withdrawn or dissatisfied. Their true nature might include a tendency toward apathy or a feeling that nothing is ever quite enough. They might always be looking for something more or something different, never fully appreciating what is right in front of them. This card can indicate someone whose identity is wrapped up in contemplation and introspection, but sometimes to the point of missing what is being offered to them. They might be so busy thinking about what they want that they do not see what they have. They might reject good things because they are waiting for something perfect, or they might be so focused on the past or future that they miss the present. I am getting a sense that this person might have built walls around their heart. Their true identity might be someone who has been disappointed before and now guards themselves by not allowing themselves to get too excited or invested in anything. They maintain emotional distance as a protection mechanism. This can make them seem aloof or uninterested when really they are just protecting themselves from potential hurt. The Four of Cups can also reveal someone who is going through a period of reevaluation. They might be questioning what they want and who they are. Their true identity is in flux. They are not sure what brings them fulfillment anymore, and they are sitting with that uncertainty. This is not necessarily negative, but it does mean they might not be fully available emotionally because they are working through their own stuff. What strikes me about this card in your reading is the theme of looking inward rather than outward. The discovery of true identity here might be about realizing that someone is more focused on their internal world than on connecting with others. They might be thoughtful and deep, but also somewhat disconnected. Understanding this helps you see them more clearly and decide how to relate to them. The final card I pulled is Knight of Cups, and this brings in romantic, dreamy, idealistic energy. The knight sits on his horse holding a cup like he is offering a gift or extending an invitation. This knight is the romantic of the tarot deck. He is about emotions, feelings, and the pursuit of the heart's desires. When we talk about true identity, the Knight of Cups suggests someone whose authentic self is emotional, sensitive, and romantic. They are guided by their feelings. They make decisions based on what their heart tells them rather than pure logic. Their true nature is someone who values love, beauty, and emotional connection above practical considerations. This knight can indicate someone who is genuinely romantic and caring. They are the person who remembers anniversaries, brings flowers, writes love letters, and makes grand gestures. Their identity is wrapped up in being a romantic partner and in pursuing emotional fulfillment. They are not afraid to show their feelings, and they wear their heart on their sleeve. But the Knight of Cups can also indicate someone who is a bit of a dreamer. Their true identity might include a tendency to idealize people and situations. They might fall in love with the idea of someone rather than the reality. They can be somewhat impractical, focusing on romance and emotion while neglecting practical matters. They might promise more than they can deliver, not out of malice, but because in the moment they genuinely feel and believe everything they say. I am getting that this knight energy is about someone whose true nature is to be in love with love itself. They are seekers of emotional experiences. They want passion and connection and romance. But sometimes this seeking can make them restless. Once the initial excitement fades, they might be looking for the next romantic adventure. Understanding this about someone helps you see them clearly. Are they genuinely committed, or are they more in love with the romance than the reality of partnership? The Knight of Cups can also represent messages about feelings or emotional offers coming your way. The discovery of true identity might involve someone revealing their feelings or making an emotional proposition. The key is to look at their actions, not just their words. Knights are about action and movement, so watch how they follow through on what they express. What I find interesting about ending with this card is the question of whether someone's romantic nature is genuine deep commitment, or whether it is more about the chase and the feeling. The true identity revealed by the Knight of Cups is someone emotional and feeling-oriented, but you need to assess whether that translates into real partnership or just romantic gestures. So Taurus, when I look at all 6 cards together, there is a really interesting story here about discovering someone's true nature. We have the stability and authenticity of the King of Pentacles, the potential for conflict or deception with the 5 of Swords, the anxiety and overthinking of the 9 of Swords, the clarity and truth of the Sun, the emotional withdrawal of the 4 of Cups, and the romantic idealism of the Knight of Cups. What this tells me is that discovering someone's true identity is complex. People contain multitudes. Someone can be genuinely stable and reliable, and have moments of defensiveness or conflict. They can be authentically warm and joyful and struggle with anxiety or emotional withdrawal. The key is seeing the whole picture, not just selected pieces. The presence of the Sun is really encouraging because it suggests that ultimately, the truth will be revealed in a positive way. Whatever uncertainty exists now will clear up and you will see things as they really are. Trust that clarity is coming. In the meantime, be aware of the tendency to overthink or project fears onto the situation. Try to see people as they are not, as your anxiety tells you they might be. If this reading is about someone specific in your life, pay attention to how they show up consistently over time. The King of Pentacles energy reminds us that true character is revealed through sustained behavior, not just initial impressions or romantic gestures. The Knight of Cups might sweep in with beautiful words, but the King of Pentacles shows who someone is through years of steady presence. I hope this reading gave you some genuine insight, Taurus. The cards are showing complexity but also hope for clarity and truth. Trust your ability to see people clearly once you move past anxiety and fear. The sun is shining on this situation and illumination is coming.